We begin the conversation this morning in Ghana, where the largest opposition party, the National Democratic Congress (NDC), has chosen the country's ex-president, John Dramani Mahama, as its flag bearer for the 2024 presidential election. Mahama was declared the overwhelming winner after polling 297,603, or 98.9% of the votes, as delegates of the NDC voted in primaries on over the weekend to choose a candidate for both the presidential and parliamentary polls, while his challenger, former Kumasi Mayor Kojo Bonsu, scored 3,181, or 1.1% votes.
Now, despite defeats in 2016 and 2020 elections by incumbent President Nana Akufo-Addo, the 64-year-old Mahama had been eyeing a return and had faced off with former Central Bank Governor Kwabena Dufo and Bonsu. The primaries comes on the heels of talks between Ghana and the International Monetary Fund (IMF) over a $3 billion bailout to help overcome an economic crisis and a growing jihadist threat from a conflict in neighboring Burkina Faso. Now we have political editor Wilberforce Asare, who's joining us this morning from Ghana. Good morning, Mr. Asare. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Good morning.
Good to see you. He's not
good to see you too.
He's not a new name in the Ghanaian, political space, a former president, but he had already been tipped by most political analysts to win the primaries based on his experience and influence and popularity. But quickly share with us, how excited I was going to say Ghanaians are about him clinching the ticket. Is there a hunger for John Mahama to be back in office? Or is this really just around the NDC?
Well, so Mr. John Mahama, with this particular win, will be appearing on a presidential ballot paper for the fourth time in 2024 for the National Democratic Congress. The first time he appeared as a candidate was in 2012, which election he won, albeit controversially. And then he appeared again in 2016 and lost to the current president, Nana Akufo-Addo. In 2020, he appeared again on the ticket of the NDC and lost again to Nana Akufo-Addo. Now, in 2024, as I've said, it will be his fourth time of appearing on the ticket for his party. And he will be coming up against a different candidate other than Nana Akufo-Addo, because his term in office is ending in 2024 up to January 7, 2025. And so for the NDC, having elected Mr. Mahama again, they know that they are coming on the background of having put him up for 2 different elections and he not being able to win on their ticket. And so in 2024, it will become more of an important election for the NDC, because they know if Mr. Mahama goes to lose again, that probably will be the end of his political career, because he has to make way for other persons within the National Democratic Congress to take over from him. Now, someone may be wondering why one person would have appeared 4 different times. Our constitution allows any sitting president or anybody who wants to go for the position of president to serve 2 terms. So Mr. Mahama came to office in 2013 through to 2017, served 1 term. In his attempt to win a 2nd term in 2016, he lost that bid and came back again in 2020 to want to rescue the situation and lost again. And so he has another window of opportunity in 2024 to attempt to rescue that this particular mission and to see whether he will be able to win and to serve another 4 years in office. And this particular issue has been used by certain people in his party, because they are saying that if he wins the election, he will have very little time, because he will use the first 2 years trying to set up his government. It will be left to 2 years, and he will not be able to do anything for the country and, for that matter, for the party. So that's the brief background about Mr. Mahama, who is vying to become president again.
Mr. Asare, what's changed? He lost his election in 2016. Now his journey started, of course, he's been vice president and president, and he lost the election in 2016. What happened then, and what is different now that gives them some sort of guarantee that he might be, doing well, or give them the guarantee to bring him back as their party, flag bearer for 2024? What has changed in these years?
Well, so your question is a very good question, and that's the same question people have been asking on the streets of Ghana, if I can tell you so. And that is that they are saying that Mr. Mahama came into office, first of all, in 2009 as vice president and together with Professor Mills. Professor Mills, the former president, died in 2012. Mr. Mahama succeeded him and completed his term, and then went on to win an election to become the substantive president 2013 to 2017, and has lost the 2016 elections and also lost the 2020 elections. So what it means is that Mr. Mahama, after winning an election in 2012, has been rejected twice. Now, the first rejection in 2016, he lost by almost 1 million votes difference between him and former president, current president Akufo-Addo. And in 2020, he lost with a vote difference of over 500,000. And so people on the streets are asking that, why would anybody within the NDC or within Mr. Mahama's camp think that if he comes back in 2024, he can overturn the 500,000 vote deficit that is between him and the MPP candidate to become president? Some have said that, well, the economic difficulties is the reason why perhaps Ghanaians will turn their attention to him. But the flip side is that some other people also say that under his term in office in 2012 to 2017, we suffered the worst economic challenge in our history, because at the time there was no pandemic, there was no Russia-Ukraine war, but we had very difficult economic circumstances, which led us to the IMF in 2015, which program we came out of in 2019, just before the COVID-19 pandemic hit. So someone will say that the odds are against Mr. Mahama. However, his political party is committed to him and have elected him overwhelmingly with 98.67% of the total valid votes cast. And so that is an internal elections put out of the way. What stands in his way right now is the national elections. And now notice that the New Patriotic Party has two leading contenders. The sitting vice president, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, is in pole position to become the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. He has a challenge in Alan Chemanteng, but if you ask political watchers in the NPP, they'll tell you that Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia appears to be the presumptive leader, which election will be held on the 4th of November this year. And so by 4th of November, we will know whether Mr. Dr. Bawumia will be the candidate for the NPP. And that will mean that John Mahama will be locking horns with Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia, a formidable challenge for him. So political watchers in Ghana are waiting to see how things will turn out, except to say that Mr. Mahama's chances, as compared to previous two elections he has participated in, political commentators will tell you that there's a difficult task ahead of him and ahead of his party.
Yeah, it would be nice if any of them says Emilokon or something similar. Wow. Says this is turn. But I also want to know if, we of course will continue this conversation some other time, to know if Ghanaians are happy with the options that they have.
I can hardly hear you. I can hardly hear you. I can hear our lady better than you.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up the conversation, Mr. Asare. Thank you for stopping by. We will see you again as things develop.
Okay. Unfortunately, I didn't hear. I don't know.
Well, he was just trying to say thank you so much for your contribution. We'll see you again.
Voila. Thank you.
Have a wonderful
week.
Thank you very
much.
Thanks for stopping by. All right.